Hello, our people. Welcome to day one of a new lesson. Please excuse my voice as I am getting over a little bit of a cold. So, this lesson is called Ceramic Life Cycles, and the entire project concludes in us having a ceramic life cycle. So, here's some examples of the final product. These are going to take us quite a while, though. So, a life cycle shows you just the life cycle of an animal or a plant or any living organism. So, for instance, it might start out as an egg and then go to a caterpillar and then a cocoon and then a butterfly, which lays an egg, which turns into a caterpillar, which goes into a cocoon, which comes out a butterfly. That's a really common life cycle. There's another life cycle for frogs. There's a life cycle for everything that's living. So it might start as eggs, go to a tadpole with legs, frog, which lays the egg. So it goes just around and around and around. Here's a chicken one. So these are all ones that I've done myself. So there's an egg, the egg hatches, it's a baby chick, and then it's a chicken, and then the chicken lays an egg, and then, see, so on and so forth. So that's a life cycle. So we're all going to make a life cycle, and you'll get to choose the living organism in which you make your life cycle for. And today, all we're doing for this lesson is just sketching out some ideas, okay? And we're not going to start sculpting until next time. So let's read our objective for today. I am planning a life cycle sculpture so that I can elaborate on the imaginative ideas in my plan when I sculpt it out of clay. Elaborate just means to build on it. So today, when we do our drawing, we want it to be nice and simple, and then we're going to elaborate on it, okay? Which means we're going to just push it a little bit further and build on our idea. So these are just some ideas. As always, whenever you're drawing something, you can either 1, follow the tutorial, 2, copy a reference image, 3, draw from your imagination, or 4, any of those things. As always, when we're drawing, it's always ladybug this time. So first, everybody just draw the base that you want. I think for my ladybug, I'm going to do a heart this time. And then just draw the first part of the life cycle of what you've chosen. So little eggs. And then you'll draw an arrow. And again, it doesn't have to just be this simple arrow. It can be like a wavy arrow. And then the second step of the life cycle you've chosen. And again, just make it really simple. Don't worry about details right now. We have to keep it simple so we can elaborate on it, because that's the objective. All right, so that's enough sketching time. Like I said, really, really quick, just sketch of each of these. So now we need to elaborate on this idea that we've come up with, okay? So you've imagined how this would look in clay form, right? So now we're going to add to it. So if you come up with an idea for how to do that, you can draw that. So for instance, I could carve out a leaf for my eggs to be sitting on. So I'm drawing on that. Maybe a leaf on this one. Maybe we're elaborating by adding some like details, maybe some dots. Maybe we're elaborating by coming up with a better arrow. And maybe everything in your artwork you try to make it ladybug themed. So for instance, or whatever yours is themed. So since I'm doing a ladybug, what if I made the arrows polka dot? Because that's what we think of when we think of ladybugs, right? So you can make everything on theme. Another way you could elaborate on your idea is by labeling what you're going to color everything. So let's do that next. So this is going to be red. Just going into more details. Arrows are red with black dots. Okay. And if you want to elaborate from this idea of a real life cycle and turn it into like an imaginative life cycle, you can. I'm going to keep mine a ladybug, but that's just another idea. So for instance, if you're like, how about instead of what I made here, I made it a pretend version of that. So for instance, instead of just a ladybug, maybe it's like a ladybug unicorn. I don't know. So you put a unicorn horn on it, and then these are actually, instead of yellow, they're rainbow. Or maybe instead of this whole thing of this life cycle, what if it's an Among Us ladybug? Like that would be elaborating on it. You're making it your own. So you could say, okay, and then what would an Among Us baby look like? Maybe just like this. As a blob. So you can completely change it and just be inspired by your original one. This is the next stage of Among Us, according to me. Maybe the full one has a backpack. I don't know. This one is ready to go. And then he gets his dots here. So Ladybug Among Us. So see how you can take a simple idea and make it more and more and more and add creativity to it. If you were to do like the alligator one, you might change from doing an alligator to doing a dragon, because dragons are kind of like alligators. Maybe you added wings to it. Maybe if you started with a panda, it could turn into like a samurai panda. If you did a butterfly, maybe it turns into like a rainbow butterfly or some sort of make-believe butterfly. Butterfly that shoots lasers out of its eyes or changes colors with its mood. These are just some ideas of how to elaborate on your idea and make it more creative. maybe I end up changing my heart to actual ladybug wings. That might maybe is a better idea. Maybe that will give you ideas. Maybe you drew a ladybug one and now you're like, I think I'm happy with the ladybug, but I want to draw the panda one just for fun. Well, go for it, because that might give you a new idea. If you did a bumblebee and now you want to do a butterfly, that might give you some ideas. You might end up thinking about like, oh, how could I combine these two into a new make-believe character, a bumblebee butterfly, for instance. So feel free to just draw however many life cycles you want. And then also at this point, if you wanted to color your life cycles, you're welcome to get something to color. That's all for this video. You guys are just going to work now on that. I'm so excited to see what you guys come up with. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.